What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Kia Telluride SX X-Line. Huge thank you to Daniel Castro over at Safford Kia of Fredericksburg, Virginia for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular Telluride or any Kia product, then I'll be sure to have Daniel's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. It is a beautiful first day of spring, even if it is on the chillier side of things. However, I'm just glad that the wind is not too bad today. But just like usual, first I'm going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2024 Kia Telluride SX X-Line, and this particular one has been painted in dark moss. I wanted to preface this video by saying for 2024, Kia made some minor changes on the exterior of the Telluride, like the addition of the amber LED daytime running lights and the gloss black trim that replaces the gray trim on the X-Line like we have here today. But this one being the SX X-Line, as standard, you get LED projector headlights with high beam assist, as well as amber LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals, LED fog lights, and a black headlight bezel. But taking a step to the left, this is what the front end of the SX X-Line looks like. And I wanted to talk about the paint color here for a second because normally I'm not a fan of green paint on vehicles. However, the dark moss looks absolutely fantastic in my personal opinion on the Telluride. And quite frankly, I'm kind of surprised that this paint color does not come at a premium. But taking a look at our front grille with the SX X-Line, you get a gloss black front grille and surround. You also have your silver Kia logo located at the center of your front grille, and then just beneath your eye, you may notice that you get a forward-facing camera, and that is because this trim level comes standard with a 360-degree view camera system. Taking a step back, also as standard, you get 4 forward-facing sensors, and then talking about the style again here, you get a satin black lower grille with a gloss black lower grille surround, and then you also get gloss black outer grills both here, and I'll show you on this side as well. And then you also may notice that you get some satin black lower fascia on the outsides of your front bumper being right here. And then this one being the SX X-Line, you get 8.4 inches of ground clearance as well as a 17.7 degree approach angle. Again, you get that satin black lower fascia on the outsides of your front bumper, and that leads into your satin black wheel arch moldings. With the SX X-Line, you get these 20-inch gloss black wheels wrapped in 245/50 Michelin Primacy LTX all-season tires. I'll give you a view of the tread pattern on these tires here as best that I can there real quick. And I also wanted to mention that with this trim level, you do get a center locking differential, which essentially equates to even power distribution. Let's say you get stuck in like a snowbank or something like that. Basically, it's going to send even power to all 4 of your wheels to help you try to spin out of that sticky situation. But moving into our side view mirrors, you get body color mirror caps with integrated turn signals. And as standard, these side view mirrors are heated, power folding. You also get memory functions with your side view mirrors. So not only is the vehicle going to memorize your driver seat settings, it is also going to memorize your outer mirror settings with the 2 memory seat adjustment settings. And then moving on from there, you will find your blind spot monitoring on the upper left-hand side of your driver's side mirror and on the upper right-hand side of your passenger side mirror. And then on the bottom side of your side view mirror, you have a camera, and that camera works with your blind spot view system as well as your 360-degree view camera system. 2 nice little safety features. And then taking a step back, here's a little side profile shot of the Telluride, and you may notice that you get the gloss black roof rails at the top. And then you also get the gray window trim surrounding the top and the bottoms of the windows. And then you also get body color door handles with keyless access. Just keep in mind though, the keyless access function is only on your front 2 door handles. The rear 2 door handles do not get the keyless access function. And then coming down just a little bit more, you get satin black door cladding with some gloss black accenting. So all of this down here is satin black, and then you can see that gloss black trim piece right about there. And then also on the driver's side, you have your fuel door, and if you press on it, it will pop open. 87 octane will do you just fine with this thing, and you may notice you do not get a capless filler neck. Moving up to here, you get a body color shark fin antenna as well as a body color roof spoiler with your integrated third brake light. You also get a rear window defroster and a rear wiper. Now I'm going to take a step back and give you a rear 3/4 shot of the Telluride, and I'm going to tell you that you get LED taillights as standard. Here's the little booty shot of the Telluride. You can see you get the silver badging back here. You get the X-line badging on the lower right-hand side of your liftgate, and then just above, or I guess below your second L, you will find your backup camera right about there. And then just to the right of the backup camera, underneath your U, if you press on that pad with the vehicle either unlocked or if you have your key fob in your pocket, your power liftgate will open up. But I did want to mention that this is a smart power liftgate, so you have a setting in which you can walk up to the rear end of the vehicle with your key fob in your pocket. The liftgate will open up on its own, and then you can walk away from it and the liftgate will close on its own. By the way, the liftgate is also height adjustable, and there are your height adjustable instructions there. Now, taking a look at what we got going on here in the trunk area, you can see you get a decent amount of storage space with the third row seats up, kind of similar to what you get with like a Chevy Tahoe with the third row seats up. So I'd say you probably get about, 2, maybe 2.5 feet of storage space here from the middle to that seat back, and probably, a few inches less here on the sides. You can also fold these third row seats down if nobody's going to be sitting in them, and basically push them down, and you get a little bit more storage space. I reclined that seat back a little bit too much, but you can see you get an additional about 3.5 feet of storage space with the third row seats down. And then these ones are manual, so you do got to grab onto them, pull them back up. So you pull on them to push down, you pull on them to pull back up. And then I also wanted to show you that from back here, you can drop your second row seat. So let's say I wanted to drop this seat right here in the second row. I can press that button right there and the second row seat will drop. You can do the same thing to the seat on that side. And then also on this side, underneath those two functions, you have a 12-volt power outlet as well as a speaker. Underneath here, if you pull this plastic piece up, that is where you will find your jack. And if you lift up on this piece right here, you get quite a bit of storage space. I'd say it's probably about 10 inches deep. You can fit what you need to, like, let's say you have kids, you can fit your kids stuff back here, like gloves, hats, etc. And then you can also fit your jumper cables back here and quite a bit more. And if you wanted to get access into your spare tire, you would pop this piece off, stick your key in there, and then that will give you access to drop your spare tire. And that's kind of about it for what we got going on here in the trunk area. Here are the two functions on the trunk. You can turn the smart trunk off by clicking on that, or if I can click this button right here, the power liftgate will close back up. And let's finish things off here at the back end, shall we? So I'm going to highlight this area. So this is your gloss black rear valance, and then you also get your reverse lights integrated into the rear valance, as well as 2 reflectors. Also integrated into the rear valance, you get 4 parking sensors. And then coming down just a little bit more, you get that satin black lower fascia, your dual exhaust with the silver exhaust tips. And a couple things that you get with this trim level include the self-leveling suspension, the 23-degree departure angle, and a max tow capacity of 5,000 pounds. So let's say you have a boat, 21-foot center console, a dual console, something like that. You will be able to bring your family around in this vehicle while you're towing your boat at the same time. So plenty capable in the family aspect of things, plenty capable in the towing aspect of things. Might not be the greatest tow capacity, but if you need any more than that, you might want to look into getting a Tahoe, a Suburban, or something of that nature. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals the 3.8-liter naturally aspirated V6 that makes 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 6.8 seconds. And if you are wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 18 miles per gallon in the city, 24 miles per gallon on the highway for 20 miles per gallon combined with all-wheel drive. So if you're looking for a 3-row SUV without the complexity of turbos, then you might want to give the Telluride a look. But if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you're enjoying the video, if you've learned anything from the video, please just take a second to like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, as it helps me get closer to my dreams. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, as before mentioned, you do get keyless access, so all you have to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, put your hand behind the door handle, and it will unlock. You can also lock it if you run your finger across this rectangle here, and it will lock back up. This is what the key fob looks like. It's mostly gray, and then going over the functions on the key fob, you have your lock function, your unlock function, your power liftgate function, your panic function, and on the opposite side, you have your remote start function. If you wanted to remote start this, all you have to do is lock it first, press and hold on the remote start function, and it will fire up. And that is what it sounds like being fired up from the exterior's perspective. But now let's see what the interior of the SX line has to offer. So this one's been spec'd with the black leather upholstery. You have two other interior color options to choose from, one being terracotta, the other one being sage green. Just keep in mind though, both of those come at a premium. Then this is what the door panel looks like. Starting at the top, you get some vinyl wrapping, you get some gray trim, you get your 2 memory seat adjustment settings as well as a speaker. Then coming over to here, pressing on that is going to power fold in or out your side view mirrors, and then here are your side view mirror controls. You have your unlock and your lock functions, automatic up and down windows at all 4 corners. Pressing on this button is going to restrict your passenger window privileges, and it is also a child lock for the second row passengers. Then you get a leather wrapped armrest that is nicely padded, and you get some phone storage. Coming down a little bit more, you get some miscellaneous storage space, your Harman Kardon speaker right there, as well as a spot you could set a water bottle. So the SX line does come standard with a 10-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, and that is what the speaker looks like on the driver door panel. You also get a brushed aluminum door sill, and then these are what your front seats look like. So as standard, you get a 10-way power driver seat with 4-way power lumbar and a thigh extension. And then as for the passenger side, you get an 8-way power passenger seat with 2-way lumbar. And as standard, you get heated and ventilated front seats. And then you also get the X line stamped into the seat back of your front seats. But stepping on into the interior, let's hear what this thing sounds like when you close the door. Now I'm gonna lock it and basically walk you throughout the entire interior, starting over here. So these controls are to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster as well as your backlit buttons. This right here is gonna put you into your tow mode. This is your hill descent control mode. However, Kia calls it your downhill brake control. Then to the right of that, that is to open and or close your power liftgate, and this is to turn your traction control system on or off. Down here you have your fuses, and then if you flip this down, that gives you access into your manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And what I mean by that is you can push the steering wheel away from you, you can bring the steering wheel towards you, and it will also move up and down. Once you find your comfortable position, all you got to do is lock that back into place. And now let's take a listen to the turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like on the Telluride, and that is your blind spot view system, which I'll get into here in a minute. But not only is this your turn signal control stock, this is also your headlight and fog light control stock. And right now the headlights are off. That is headlights automatic. One more is your daytime running lights on, and all the way up is headlights always on. It also lets you know what you're doing there on the right hand side of your digital dash. And then to the right of that, that is to turn your fog lights on or off. I personally like to leave it in headlights automatic because I think the vehicle does a good job at turning the lights on and off when need be, but that is personal preference. And then zooming back out, you get a leather wrapped steering wheel, and as standard, this is a heated steering wheel. And just like any other vehicle, you have your horn at the center. So let's take a listen to it. That is what the horn sounds like on the Telluride. Now, on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, let's go over these controls. So this right here is to speak to the vehicle. This is for your volume controls, and if you wanted to mute the audio system, all you would have to do is push on that button and the audio system will mute. If you click on that phone button there, that is going to pop up your phone stuff here on your infotainment screen. And then these two buttons are configurable. So if I click the mode button, it's going to bring me into this screen. And with the mode button, I can select any of these. I can select all of these and it will bounce between all of these different things, or you can select like 3 of them. But basically, let's say I have it set to Bluetooth audio, then anytime I click the mode button, it's going to pop me into my Bluetooth audio stuff. But if I select all of them, right, then it's going to pop me into Bluetooth audio, phone projection, sounds of nature, USB music, and it's going to bounce between the two, and then it's going to come back around and bounce between them. So basically, with the mode button, you can select all of these You could select 3 of these, you could select 2 of them, you can select however many of these that you want, and that's what the mode button will do. And basically this star button is a very similar thing, however, you can only choose one of these things. So anytime you click the star button, it could put you into quiet mode. It could put you into your radio media on or off, route preview, cancel route, any of these different things here. But you can only choose one of them. So you can see I can't choose all of them. I can only choose one of them. And that is the difference between those 2 buttons there. Both of those buttons are configurable, and you just choose which option you want them to be on that screen there. And then on the right-hand side of your steering wheel, these 2 controls are for your digital gauge cluster, which I'll get into here in a second. But then these 4 controls here are for your smart cruise control system with stop and go. But then this vehicle also does have the Highway Driving Assistant 2, which is basically a semi-autonomous driving system. You can read what that is all about on screen right now. But you also have your windshield wiper control stock. And then again, I mentioned that these 2 functions control your digital gauge cluster. So we might as well talk about the size of the digital gauge cluster, because you get a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. And going throughout the digital gauge cluster, on the left-hand side, you have your fuel range, your fuel gauge, your digital speedometer readout, as well as your outside temperature. And then up top here, you have your transmission status stuff. The speed limit sign is there. Right here is like your fuel economy stuff. That is your fuel economy stuff there. Then that is your tachometer. This is your coolant temperature gauge. This is the odometer. And then you can bounce between these different features here. So right now, this is like your driving assistance screen. And if I click this button right here, it's going to bring me into this screen. So now you can see I have my digital speedometer readout at the center, as well as there on the side. So if I click down, it's going to bring me into my drive information. Then it's going to bring me into since refueling information, accumulated information, the auto stop start stuff, and the digital speedometer readout again. If I click this button, then I can see my compass. If I click that button one more time, I can either see my torque distribution between all of the wheels. So let's say I floored this thing from a stop. All of these boxes are going to fill in. But, you know, once you get past like 20-ish miles an hour or whatever it is, it's basically going to just power the vehicle with the front wheels. The rear wheels aren't really going to be doing much. So anyways, clicking down one more time, then you can see your tire pressure stuff. But you got to be driving in order to see that stuff. So really, that's kind of about it for what we got going on there on the infotainment screen. Now coming over to, or not the infotainment screen, the digital gauge cluster. Coming into the infotainment screen, this is also a 12.3-inch screen, but this is your infotainment system with built-in navigation and wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity. This is your home screen. You can see your date, your time, and the music. And then on this side, you have kind of like your subtle navigation stuff. Swiping over to the right, this is what the first screen looks like. And let's say you don't like the way that these widgets are laid out. Well, what you can do is you can press and hold on them, and then it brings you into this screen, and you can edit where you want the stuff to be. So you can move the music up to right about there, you can move the music to over there, and you can do that with any of these different widgets. And you can, like, let's say you wanted phone projection, you can grab phone projection and you can drag it to this next screen. So if I brought that, I can drag it to the other screen, and I can move phone projection to the other screen. So that is what that does there. And I think that is pretty cool. You got that adjustability to do that. But this vehicle also does have passenger talk. So if you click on passenger talk and that pops up, basically now my voice is being amplified throughout the speakers to the people in the second and the third row, so they can hear me better if we're on the highway and they can't hear me too well. So that is what the passenger talk is. You can kind of hear the echo, and then you don't hear the echo anymore. And then when I'm talking again, you can kind of start to hear that echo again. So that is what passenger talk is. It's probably a pretty useful feature. Obviously, I've never used it, but you can see all of the other things here on the screen. One thing I did want to show you about this screen is, let's say you wanted to go into like driver assistance settings, but you didn't feel like going throughout all of the different menus in order to find it. Well, all you have to do is click on that magnifying glass and then type in driver assistance stuff, and boom, driver assistance will pop right up. So the search feature with that magnifying glass makes navigating this screen very, very easy to do. And I don't feel like I need to spend too much time on this screen because it is just, you know, that easy to use. But then you get your time and your date there, and that's kind of about it for the infotainment system. Coming down a little bit more, you get your 3 HVAC vents here. You get your push button start button. Your volume control knob is here. Your tuning control knob is over there. And then you have all of these physical controls down here. And these are all of your different shortcut buttons into your navigation stuff, which is going to pop up your map. This is going to pop up your point of interest stuff. This is going to bring you into your radio, media, seek, track, forward on a track, backward on a track, another configurable button, and then this is going to bring you into your setup screen. So basically your settings that I just showed you. But let's click the hazards. You can see the hazard button flashes with the hazards. And then again, this button right here is configurable. So if I click on it, it's going to bring me into a very similar thing that these two buttons do, except it's going to bring me into a different menu of options to choose from what this button does. So it can be any of these things here on screen. But again, just like the star button on the steering wheel, you can only choose one. So honestly, if I was using this button, I would probably set it to my home button, but that's just me. I'm going to leave it on none for now. But I don't know if you guys saw all of those different things. We'll go back into the home screen, and that's kind of about it for those controls. Coming down just a little bit more, this vehicle comes standard with a tri-zone climate control system, temperature control for the driver, temperature control for the passenger. This is going to turn your heated steering wheel on or off, and this is what the climate control stack looks like when it is on. You can also pop up the rear climate up on top. And then you get your off button. You can take a look at all those different functions. But as mentioned a little bit ago, you do get heated and ventilated front seats as standard. Both get 3 levels of adjustability, as you may be able to tell. That's the one for the passenger side. And then you also get these like poop handles here, and then one for the passenger as well. Now, you can close this off, and this is just like a piece of protective plastic. You can peel this off, and it's going to be some gloss black trim, so you can simplify what we got going on here in the center console. But if you open that back up, basically you get a USB-A port, a USB-C port, a 12-volt power outlet, as well as a wireless charging pad. So I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it will fit in the wireless charging pad. Even though that phone is one of the bigger phones on the market, my phone is charging at the moment. Now, coming back just a little bit more, you get a great spot down in there. You could set your key fob. You also get 2 cup holders. This is your gear shift selector. So let's say you wanted to control the transmission by yourself. You could go into drive, flip this over to the left, and then you would push up to upshift, pull down to downshift, and that is that. Now, zooming back out a little bit more, or coming back just a little bit more is what I meant to say. You can see you have your drive mode selector right here. So you twist all the way to the left. It's going to put you into your smart mode. Then you can go into sport mode, comfort mode, eco mode, or snow mode. And if you wanted to lock the center differential because you're stuck in a snowbank, all you would have to do is click right there and the center locking diff will lock. You can press that again and it will unlock. Then you got your auto stop start button. Auto hold function is basically when you're tired of holding your foot down on your brake in traffic, you press that button, the vehicle will hold you in place by itself with its braking system. Get your electronic parking brake. You click this button, it's going to pop up your 360 cam on your infotainment system. Then this is going to turn your parking sensors on or off. So if you don't want the beep, 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 beeps when you get too close to something, that's a button to turn that off. Now, coming back a little bit more, you get a leather wrapped armrest with some accent colored stitching, and it is nicely padded. Then you get a divider you can pull out, and down in here you get another USB-C port. I'm not sure how well that's going to pick up on camera, but then you get a decent amount of storage space. I'd say it's probably about a foot deep, followed by like 10 inches this way, so you can fit what you need to down in there, and it's actually quite a bit of storage space. Now, moving to the passenger side, let's take a look at our glove box. You get a lockable glove box, and you get a smaller glove box, honestly, than I would expect on this vehicle, but it'll fit what you need to down in there. And then also on the passenger side, you get a little storage cubby down in here. You could set your phone if you wanted. And then you get an auto dimming rear view mirror with your universal garage door opener. So if you own a house with 3 garage bays, you can open up those 3 garage bays with these 3 buttons here. And then coming up just a little bit more, you get your sunglass holder. So set your sunglasses up top there. And then both of your reading lights up here are LED. This is your instant dome light on button, but you just click them, and then both of those are LED. This is like whether you want the lights to turn on or not when you open up the doors. So if I open up the doors right now, the lights will turn on. However, if I click that and that becomes flush, now when I open up the doors, the interior lights will not turn on. I can tell you this guy's probably going to come up to me right here because he came up to me the other day asking about some cigarettes. So anyways, and then this vehicle also, you get a sunroof up here, and this sunroof will slide, but it also tilts. So you can see the sunroof will slide backwards, but then this sunroof also does tilt. So if you wanted to tilt the sunroof, all you got to do is push up on this and the sunroof will tilt. But then you also get a fixed piece of glass there in the rear. So if you pull back on this thing right here, that shade will open up. So the glass back there does not open up, but the shade opens up and it's basically like a roof that you can see through. But it does stay fixed into position. So anyways, I told you this guy was gonna come up to me. Opening this thing up, you get a vanity mirror with a vanity light, and then
hey, I know you're probably gonna say no, but I was wondering if I could make like a 2-minute call.
I can't, brother. I'm working. Sorry, man. I apologize.
How are you working?
I got a YouTube channel.
For real?
Yeah.
You probably make like at least 1,000 a month on YouTube.
Yeah, something like that.
You'll be at 100,000 before you know it.
Hey, I'm on my journey. That's what I always say in my video. I told you guys that you could come up and talk to me. Anyways, vanity mirror, a vanity light, and then this is a spot you could set your business cards here. And then if you open this thing up, you can slide this forwards and backwards, and then just close that back up, and now it's closed. And then here on the driver's side, you get an OPOOP handle. Here on the front passenger side, you also get an OPOOP handle. And that's kind of about it for what we got going on here in these front seats. I had a little conversation with the guy, and he's like, you'll be at 100,000 subscribers before you know it. I'm like, I say that all the time in my videos. I'm on my journey to 100. So I think it's just kind of funny that he mentioned that. But a couple things I figured I might point out again is that 10-way power driver seat, 4-way power lumbar with the thigh extension. You also get the wireless charging pad, the power front passenger seat that is an 8-way power passenger seat with 2-way lumbar. And now I'm just going to throw the entire window sticker on screen, and you can take a look at basically whatever you want to take a look at, but I am just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 Telluride SX X-Line is spec'd is $51,105. I think this is a very good value for your money because it is very nice. It drives great. It's comfortable, and you can haul your whole family around in it for about $50,000. So not too bad, not too expensive. So I think it is a relatively good deal. But I do want to show you what we got going on here in the rear seats before moving into the driving portion of the video. So I'm going to fold this seat up. But taking a look back here, you do get the second row window shades that you can pull up. Pull that back down, you get some vinyl wrapping here, you get a speaker, some gray trim, automatic up and down windows back here. You can see the windows go all the way down. Then again, 10 speaker Harman Kardon sound system as standard, speaker there, nicely padded armrest that's leather wrapped, some accent colored stitching, a spot you could set your phone, a spot you could set a water bottle, and a little bit of miscellaneous storage space down there as well. This is what your second row seats look like. So if I press this, that is basically going to give you easy access there into the third row. I can push that back, and if I click this thing, it does the same thing. So you get 2 of those buttons there on that seat. And then you can also slide this seat forwards and backwards if you reach under there and you grab that thing. So anyways, stepping on into these rear seats, another thing you can do is that if you pull up on this, now you get the reclining function. So these seats recline quite a bit, and that makes it super comfortable. I could fall asleep right now. But up top here, you get an OPOOP handle and a spot you could set your dry cleaning. You also get an HVAC vent, and as mentioned at the front, you get a tri-zone climate control system. So if you turn that on, you can see your temperature, fan speed, and the direction of which the air is blowing. Driver side gets a light, passenger side gets a light, both are LED. Same stuff over there on that side. And then you also get a B-pillar OPOOP panel on both sides. Now coming to here, you get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat. This is a spot you could set your wire, because you get a USB-C port there. So let's say I connect my phone charger to this thing, I can basically wrap my phone charger around there, so it's not just dangling down. And same stuff on that side, a USB-C port and that same little thing. And then you get 2 cup holders here. Coming down here, you get a 12-volt power outlet. And then you get tons of knee and leg room here in the second row, and I can again slide my seat forwards and backwards, so I have a fair amount of leg room, and then the person in the rear gets a fair amount of leg room. But one thing I really like about the Telluride, and I mentioned this the other day when I did a video with the $121,000 Escalade, is that the Escalade doesn't even have this. The Escalades just move freely up and down, whereas you can see you can lock this into position exactly where you want it to be. So I really, really like that. And then stepping into the third row area, let's see. So again, as mentioned, I can split the difference, so I can slide this seat forwards, but back here, you get some storage space, a cup holder, a little bit of storage space, a USB-C port, and on that side, you get the same stuff, minus that storage space that was back there. And then you get a dome light, an HVAC vent, same stuff over there, and that's kind of about it for what we got going on here in the interior. So, you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we talked about what's going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I will see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, now on to the driving portion of the video. Take a listen. You know, while this thing, like on paper, might not seem like it's got the most amount of power, it doesn't have the number over 300 horsepower, it's still plenty quick. You know, it's got more than enough get up to keep you happy and stuff. So I don't really have any complaints about the power. It's got more than enough power in my personal opinion. Everybody always wants more power. I always want more power, but it's got adequate power and a little bit more than adequate power. It was so funny. I was sitting in the parking lot there, and that guy came up to me, and you know, he just started talking. I was like, hey, I hate to be short with you, but I got to get back to work. He's like, you're working? I was like, yeah, I got a YouTube channel. And then we just started talking about that. So that was just kind of funny. But anyways, like I mentioned, I'm not normally a fan of green paint on cars unless it's on like an Aston Martin with a tan interior or something. But this green really, really works on the Telluride, especially with like the gloss black and the gray accents that you get with this thing. It looks really, really sharp. So I really like the way that this looks. And then you also have a couple different interior color options you can choose from. The black is the only one that you get for no additional cost. The other two, sage green and terracotta, you have to pay extra for. I'd be interested to see what the sage green looks like. But moving on from that, these seats are comfortable. You know, when you first sit in them, you might be like, they kind of seem like they're a little bit firm. But then once you kind of dial in the lumbar, the recline, and then the thigh extension, you could really make them get pretty darn comfortable. I'm going to turn the lane system off because it's starting to annoy me. You know, that's one thing about the lane keeping systems is sometimes on vehicles is that you'd be driving and then all of a sudden it gets like a jolt like that. You're like, how is this helping me in any sort of way? But it does on the highway, just not around, you know, these kinds of roads. But this would make for a great family vehicle, I think, because it comes at an affordable price, but then it also is really nice. You know what I mean? Like, this is a good, in my opinion, a good value because it's comfortable, but that's not what I was going for. What I was trying to say is, here's a little acceleration first. Is that it pretty much gives you, you know, everything that you need and more, but it doesn't maybe give you the heated second row seats, which again doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's the kind of stuff you miss out on, is like the heated second row seats and little things like that. But other than that, you know, this thing's pretty much got everything that you could want. You know what I'm saying? So it's got the adaptive cruise or smart cruise control with stop and go, the highway driving assistant too, 360 cam, and really that's all you need when it comes to like the fancy features. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, this road's a little bit weird, but it's just a great vehicle. It's comfortable, it cruises well, it's well insulated from the outside world. I think it looks great on the exterior. You know, I think it's got that premium look that, you know, some people are going for when getting a family SUV. I think it's got that look to it. Especially with the amber daytime running lights up at the front. I think that really makes the front, in my personal opinion, it makes it look different than everything else on the road. Everything else on the road has got just like the white running lights, which obviously look good, but the amber running lights just you know, take it to that next level, in my opinion. You know, it kind of reminds me of what you get with like a Ford Raptor. You know what I'm saying? The Ford Raptor also has the amber running lights, which I think look sweet. But other than that, man, it's comfortable. It's relatively efficient, you know what I mean? And it's also comes standard with all-wheel drive. So, you know, that's good if you live in a colder climate where you might get snow, or if you live near a beach and you drive on the beach, well, then this might be good for that as well. So here's a little, you know, sound test about what it sounds like at about 45 miles an hour with road and the wind noise wise. So anyways, pretty quiet, right? It is a not windy day, but it's a little bit breezy out. And one thing though is that with the screen, you can see you can get fingerprints all over the screen if you know, your hands are sweaty or something like that. So that's just one of the things about the screens that I don't necessarily like, but because you do have pretty much all the physical controls that you need without having to go throughout the screen, it's really not that big of an issue. But you just know you might get some fingerprints and finger smudges if you do use the screen. Now here's a little acceleration floored. It's got a nice sound to it as well. You know, it's not the quickest thing, so don't expect it to be the quickest thing. I mean, it is a family SUV after all. If you want a really quick family SUV, then take a look at an Escalade V or a Dodge Durango Hellcat. Those will suffice when it comes to power. Hellcat's got over 700 horsepower and the Escalade's got nearly 700 horsepower. So again, the reason I bring that up is because if you're looking at this, you don't really care about power, I don't think. But if you do care about just good acceleration to get you from where you need to be able to give you a little bit of passing power, this has that kind of power. So here's just a regular acceleration. Transmission shifts smooth, and you know, when it comes to seating, I really enjoyed the second row seats because just all the reclinability you get with those second row seats. The front seats are also very comfortable. Once you find your position, again, the front seats are also heated and ventilated. So, I mean, this thing really gives you everything that you need and more. And it comes at a pretty good value in my personal opinion as well. But that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you enjoyed the video, if you learned anything from the video, please just take a second to like, comment, and subscribe. Take a look at that lady. That's pretty cool. Look at this. Before we end out today's video, that is so cool. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.